Hello and welcome to a review of Chapter 10, Structuring the Course Content, the Online Presentation. So far, you have learned about the elements of an online course, including development of the syllabus, learning outcomes, and a detailed course outline. Now it's time to start designing lessons for the course. First, we'll talk about designing engaging content. You need to create a textured environment to keep learners involved and interested. For presentations and activities, make it so that students interact with each other, the teacher, as well as the content. The course material needs to be sufficient and relate directly to the learning outcomes. And remember, these learning outcomes are introduced at the start of the course, and they have to be measurable and specific. Typically, they're going to be in the course syllabus as well. Be sure to break up the material. In an online course, you want to avoid posting long lecture or note videos. It's going to become too overwhelming for the students. So try and chunk the information. One way of doing that is just breaking up the content into incremental learning sections, steps, or segments. You should also consider breaking up the content in a series of multiple mini presentations as opposed to one long presentation. Remember, usually those presentations should only last about 5 minutes. So the use of text, images, and multimedia, we've talked a lot about this throughout the book. You want to put together a mix of different learning materials. Design content so that it's simple, and again, avoiding that information overload. Using examples, models, case studies, etc. That's a lot better for student understanding. For instance, in the course that I teach with nursing students, it's always good to give them an actual patient study so that they can try and apply that a little bit more to what they're learning. Be sure topics and materials are up to date and relevant. You don't want to be giving out false information. And engage the students in higher level thinking through activities. It's always good to incorporate student reflections throughout the course. This also gives them a chance to look back and reflect on their progress and how they're doing towards their learning outcomes. So now we'll talk about the presentation. You want to be introducing and reinforcing knowledge. So there needs to be clearly defined learning outcomes. You should break up the lesson into series of sections to keep the students moving forward and engaged. Use minimal text and try and use more of graphics, images to help them learn the content more. Also explain or define new terminology, especially in an online course when you're not there right in front of them. They're not going to be able to ask questions if a word is said that they don't understand. So in an online course, you need to make sure that all new terminology is defined, even include a glossary if possible. So obviously there's going to be do-it-yourself lessons. So we're going to talk about designing a lesson. First, you want to figure out how many sections you need to actually cover the topic. Then write learning outcomes, write the introduction, analyze and break up content into a series of segments or chunks, which makes sense. Review the material and enhance it using images, graphs, charts, etc. And determine how and where activities will be placed within each lesson that will engage the content. Using links is also really helpful so that it adds resources and can expand that content knowledge. Consider using audio and visual information that will help transform the information as well. So building the course in the LMS, it really depends a lot on the institution that you're working for and what resources they have for you. So first you need to find that out. Find out if it supports creation of multimedia elements such as video, audio. Most of the newer systems do now. Also, departments might have people who are skilled in various types of educational design, and that's really beneficial for you as an instructor because you have someone to go to. It's also best to plan and design the course in advance. You don't want to launch an online course and then start to have technical issues halfway through. So even something like doing all of your video presentations in advance to make sure that it goes off without a hitch. Also, you can find help through online tech support, but remember, sometimes they're not available on weekends or after 5, so be sure that you know those hours. And create a structure for your lesson or a prototype. That way, when you go to create a new lesson, you can just use that same format for the rest. So to sum everything up, you pretty much now have what you need to create an engaging online presentation, lessons, and activities. So you're pretty much ready for the course to go live. When it does go live, remember that you're going to be doing weekly announcements, participating and monitoring online discussions, providing feedback, structuring group activities, get student feedback to see if there's any changes in the course that should be made from their perspective, and also communicate regularly with everyone. And that's going to sum up everything from Chapter 10. If you have any questions, let me know.